So Auntieways.
So Auntieways.
So Auntieways.
Girl,
what's the tea?
So Auntieways. So Auntieways. So Auntieways. So
Bitch,
Auntieways.
that tune always turns me out. So Auntieways.
oh my gosh, my colon just left my body and took a trip.
Woo!
Yes,
Hello,
it did.
everyone. Welcome to So Auntieways. This is Mike Diamond.
This is Miss Matinga.
And this is Booby.
Back again, yet again, for another installment of So Auntieways.
Back again.
Burt Bacharach back on crack, keeping the taint in entertainment. Oh, I got it out this week.
Oh, do you know that we
Very
should do a Burt Bacharach back on crack back t-shirt?
I was going to do Burt Bacharach back on crack, and then on the back it would say, alack.
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 Yeah.
Back on crack.
I love that. Bacharach. Burt Bacharach back on crack. Alack.
Alack. Do you know what? Oh my God, wait a minute. I was watching some video about like toys, and maybe it was He-Man or one of them. There's a character named Back Attack, and somebody had made it Burt Back Attack. And I thought, are they biting our rhymes? I gotta find that shit. It was on some channel called like Toy History.
Huh.
Well, it certainly could be, because a friend of the podcast, and I don't know if this was his thinking, Adam Joseph made a song several years ago, a fierce song with Johnny McGovern, where he says, the guy worked my Moosey in the song.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's
Hey.
us. Like, I wonder if he's quoting us.
So
Moosey is the male sex organ, not the penis, but the
Anus.
the
the
anus.
what the kids now call a bussy.
The bussy.
The bussy. You hussy. So I'll have to find out what that information was. I feel like it was He-Man or one of those, or anyway, it was something called Burt Bacharach.
There is a He-Man character called Fisto, Richard Haney, and there's actually t-shirts out there that are fierce.
Comments later.
I love those t-shirts. There's cool t-shirts.
Matinga, darling, if we're gonna do this, let's do it according to the rules, shall we?
Right.
Babe, we've been doing this for 10 years, and as you well know,
And you think you know the script by now.
I'm going to do it my way, no matter how you
all
try
right,
and
Sinatra.
micromanage us.
Mm,
Fisto
not-
t-shirts are fierce.
fine. Okay. Ruby, how are you?
I'm good. I'm just fabulous.
Thank you for that riveting commentary. Well, I
Yes.
just want to say I'm pretty sure that my finger's broken. I don't know if I mentioned
Which
earlier
one? The pointy finger?
the one that I'm holding up.
Oh
Yeah.
my! No,
The
you
point-
wouldn't be able to hold it up or move it if it was.
Well,
broken.
only the top part's broken. So remember
Oh.
I said, I don't know if I mentioned that I think I had hurt the knuckle because I was doing so much editing.
Right.
Bitch, I went to open a bottle of water earlier. I think it's broken. Just
you
like
could have
the
a
top.
fracture, like a hairline fracture.
Lord knows my hairline's fractured. Trust, bitch.
Mm.
Okay,
There's really
so-
when you break a toe or you break a finger, I have broken both, and I've broken my wrist as well. There's nothing they can really do. They could put it in a thing, but there's nothing they can really do. Like when you break a toe, unless you break your entire foot, they don't even put you in a cast. They put a Band-Aid around it and they say give it a couple weeks.
What did they put you in a cast after they did your webbed foot surgery?
I was a baby. I was a thalidomide baby.
Did they keep? No, you weren't. They had stopped
Yes, I
using
was.
thalidomide. They had stopped
Yes.
using thalidomide by
Yes,
the time
because-
you were born.
because
Although it was
Mom-
long
You're
ago.
a mutant.
Because Mom was on bed rest for the last 5 weeks. They used to give you thalidomide because women would lose the baby. That's
Not
why
in
they would give you-
1970.
Yeah, well, but it was 69 when she first got pregnant.
It was 69 how she got pregnant.
and I was born.
He
I
shot
was
real
born-
far.
I was born with webbed toes. I was.
You
Fine. Fine. All right. But what about your webbed bunghole? Okay. So let's get into the meat and the gristle, as it were.
The
of
grizzle.
This, the grizzle of this here. We are going to start with, girl, what's your feature? Miss Booby, what are you gagging about?
Nothing. And just remembering something about a broken toe.
Well, then
During-
please tell
Oh,
us.
bring
No,
it.
it's-
I love your
it's-
glasses, by the
It's
way. I love it.
pretty. Oh, thank you. Thank you
Go
so
ahead,
much.
do it. What?
No, it involves all sorts of rank things.
Oh, by all means, tell us.
Can you sanitize it a little bit?
No,
so
no,
that
keep
you
it-
don't.
Keep it
Yes,
filthy,
I
but
will.
just change
I
the
will
name.
sanitize it
Yeah.
quite a bit.
No, don't. I want the full filth, but you could just leave names out.
But
me
you know what?
and an ex-partner were in the midst of carrying on with substances.
Gotta be so careful.
Yeah,
Yes.
with substances, and this partner was so on cloud 9 that when one of the dogs was barking in the next room, he got really angry and stormed to tell him to shut up. And his big toe, let's say his toes are like this, was like this,
Oh.
broken to the side. And he screamed and then went crack, put it back in place, and then black duct the black tape that you use to
Electrical tape.
electrical tape. He electrical taped his foot so that we could continue carrying on.
Oh my God.
Can I ask, did you have the electrical tape right there because you guys are doing like electro play?
No.
I mean, safety first and always, darling.
I want to say that I have both lube and electrical tape within 3 feet of me right now.
As you should.
Yeah. And
You gotta
you know
in
what?
case something pops out.
And you know what? I had a feeling that you guys continued because like in that moment, because listen, I just want to say we've all been clean and sober for many, many years, and our sobriety was hard fought and hard won. But when we partied, honey, we partied.
There was no
Like,
Cheers,
yeah, like
there was no stopping us.
Not even like rock stars. We partied like maniacs. And honey, I would have continued as well.
I think I've been dead a few times.
I think you're dead right now.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Darling.
Darling, fuck you. So you've got lube and electrical tape. All I'm looking at is cat
I
food
do.
and bottled water. So I'm very, very sad.
And you know what? That's the most perverted thing of all.
The cat is not into it, but she'll have to deal. Okay, so
Listen, real quick, if everyone within the sound of my voice right now that listens to our podcast, if you happen to be watching, listening to our podcast on YouTube, please make sure that you like and subscribe and leave a comment. It just helps the metric. And also, I want to describe that I am wearing a.
yeah, describe it.
I'll munch your tray for a cigarette t-shirt, which is official So Auntieways Homework Fire Chicote merch, available at Spring,
formerly known as Teespring.
and we appreciate you supporting the pod and the vlog and the whole dealio, honey.
And I'm wearing a Loca. This bodega is Joyce.
Joyce,
darling.
Myrna.
Joyce DeWitt.
Well, let's just make sure this is Myrna. All right, so what are you featuring? Who would like to kick it off? I think last time we went alphabetically.
Right. So this time Matinga should.
We're going to do it in reverse. Miss Matinga, you go, girl. What you featuring?
All righty. So this week, I am featuring, I'm going to mention 2 things super quick, okay? Last year, when we went into lockdown the first time, I think it was somewhere for me anyways, around January, February, March, early March, or maybe mid-March.
This podcast is only an hour, sweetheart.
You're in isolation. I was struggling to find, a purpose.
A coherent sentence.
I had just lost my gig, and I was looking for diversion and something to bring a little happiness to the bleakness. And I discovered a television show called Snowpiercer, and I watched the entire first season in rapt attention, and I just fucking loved it. Daveed Diggs and Jennifer Connelly, just a fucking fierce sci-fi television show that happens at the end of the earth. It's been the apocalypse, a snowpocalypse, and every living person is now left on a train, a perpetual motion train that is circling the earth. I watched the entire first season. Second season just debuted in late January, and so I am featuring WandaVision. I'm featuring Snowpiercer. I'm loving it so much, and I do want to say that the 4th and 5th episodes of WandaVision did change me over, and now I'm digging WandaVision as well.
Hold up, I want to unpack that for 1 second. Did you watch the movie Snowpiercer?
I watched it before I started watching the original season of the
movie's
season.
Fierce.
The movie is Chris Evans.
Yes.
Right.
And it's
Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton.
Honey, I love an actress that's not afraid to look absolutely
Harid.
frightening Harid, and David Diggs kind of takes the place so well. The show is a little bit different, but very much the same. And it's the same guy that he won an Academy Award last year. The director,
Bo Kun.
Bong Joon-ho. Oh God, I don't want to mess it up.
Oh, from the guy that did
from Parasite.
Parasite, yeah.
From Parasite, and he's Korean, is he not? He's a Korean.
Yes.
China, Japanese, Korea, one of those.
Oh, mama.
Oh, please don't step to me. I happen to be reading a book about a Pan-Asian woman, so don't step.
Oh, well, he's reading a book.
So I want to say Snowpiercer and WandaVision is also getting quite hot. Like, it's getting hot. And my boy crush for this week is Evan Peters. Love me some Evan Peters.
So we're inserting a new category, this week's boy crush?
Boy crush.
This week's boy crush.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go
do
with
boy
it.
Crush.
And bitch, I told you WandaVision was the bomb.
You know that me and Booby were a little bit cold on it. But Booby, are you still watching?
I have not. I've stopped. I've seen the first 2 episodes, so I'm up to the 3rd.
Boo, just give it 2 more episodes.
Okay.
Trust me.
It's fabulous.
It's about to get fab.
Really?
It's about to get fab, girl. Fab. So that's what I'm feeling.
And your boy crush is Evan Peters.
And my boy crush is Evan Peters, and I'm like, I watched the first 2 episodes of Snowpiercer 2nd season, and they're off with a bang.
Now I gotta think of a boy crush. Shit. Excuse me, I'm choking, dying on an Altoid.
Honey, that straight boy's got a booty on him. He doesn't have a body to speak of, but he's got a big fat booty.
Who is this?
Evan Peters.
Right.
He plays Quicksilver, but he's also on AHS a lot. And I just love him.
Pose. He was the first season Pose.
And he's very pasty white child, but I just think he's so
That's racist
adorable.
too. That's racist too.
No, because honey, well, yeah, I guess.
Pasty wild child. That's like saying Miss Booby's ashy. It's true, but that doesn't make it less racist.
Honey, but you're the one that called that girl group 6 Ashy Elbows.
Well, they.
And he's so ashamed he froze.
What?
You froze for a second.
You froze.
I didn't freeze nothing. Well, that's God punishing me. Okay. Who's next? What are we featuring?
You.
Who's next? Me, Miss Thing. Okay, so despite my broken finger, I've been spending all the last couple of weeks editing, doing this, that, and the other, and putting our playlist together because we did our Spotify versions, and then people were bitching and moaning. Sorry, Miss Honey. So I also did YouTube versions. The 90s versions will be out soon.
The YouTube list, check it out, guys. It's so fierce.
Yeah, so
fierce.
the 80s YouTube playlist is out already. The 90s one will be out any day now. The one song I cannot find is the Frankie Knuckles mix of The Pressure by Sounds of Blackness. And I tried to get cute, and I had the song on my MP3 player, and I put it on, and I made a little video to it, and I uploaded it to YouTube under an assumed account. Bitch, they flagged it immediately. It's blocked.
Immediately.
So I'm like, fuck it, that song just can't be on it. But the point is, I've been having a lot of fun going back and listening to old music that I have music that I've forgotten, music I haven't listened to for a while. And it led me down some weird avenues, such as I'm feeling Meatloaf Bad Out of Hell right now.
Hells yeah.
Yo,
yeah,
that shit kind of slaps.
Meatloaf slaps.
And I remember it, from the history books.
Right, the history books, right?
Does Meatloaf also do that song "Something by the Dashboard Lights"?
Yeah, that is from that album, Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
Yeah. That entire album is fierce.
But some shade, the woman in the video that does the woman's part in the song is not they Martha washed it. That is not the bitch that does the vocals.
Really?
Yeah, that's the girl that went on tour with them. But the girl that actually sang it, her name is Ellen Foley, and she's not in the video. So weird. Bad Out of Hell is the first album I ever actually bought LP vinyl. The first single I bought was Upside Down by Diana Ross.
Wow.
And I remember there was I think it was Elaine Boosler on Solid Gold was making fun of it. She said, "Upside down, you turn me." She's like, "What is she sleeping with Gumby?" I'm like, "Oh, that is a funny joke." That is a funny joke.
the first two singles I ever bought were "You Needed Me" by Anne Murray, and
Oh,
they were 40,
Oh.
and they were 45s, by the way. They were
yeah.
45s. "You Needed Me" by Anne Murray, and "I Got Chills, They're Multiplying."
Multiplying.
Yeah. And also remember that the first VHS I ever purchased was The Wrath of Khan.
It wasn't the pizza boy he delivers.
Honey, do you know that the first X-rated VHS that I ever purchased was on 42nd Street, literally between like 7th and 8th Avenue. I was 13, I looked 11, and I went into the store and I grabbed it and I put it on the counter and they sold it to me.
Mm.
Like
What?
to a
It was
child.
gay porn?
Yeah, it was. I'll tell you, it was.
Splash?
Power tool.
It was Power Tool, but it was also this other film where they're wrestling, but they're wearing like a lot of blush. I think it's
Yes.
called- do you remember that? I think it's called On the Mat or
Oh,
something.
it's called like Down to the Mat.
Yes, Down to
Yeah.
the Mat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
like,
think.
and I walked in. I just looked at the back. First of all, I saw Jeff Stryker's penis because I'd never seen him before, and I was literally shaking like a leaf. But I said, I'm gonna shaking like a leaf. And I was like, I'm gonna try and do this. And I placed it down and I pulled my money out. And honey, like, not even looking, put it in a bag, and I ran out like,
And then like dipped into an alleyway and took care of business.
no. And honey, I would be watching.
No, I mean
Tool-
business was your pimp, and you met him in the alleyway.
Yes, bad
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, so that's what I'm featuring. Do I have a boy crush this week? Not really. You know what? I'll have one next week. But the reason I don't have one this week is because I had no warning. But also because it is Valentine's Day, I'm opposed to it, and I'll be crushing on no one. Well, I made my point.
I keep forgetting that it's Valentine's Day.
Because
I
you're
literally keep
alone.
forgetting. And it's, you know what's so weird? Both my mother and my sister have called me up to say, you didn't call me for Valentine's Day.
Weird
I'm like,
dynamics.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, because no.
Because they
I don't
stopped
want
putting
to.
out for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Long
don't
ago.
want to.
Yeah, and it's like, so I'm like, happy Valentine's Day.
I mean, it's a made up holiday to sell candy, which I'll be buying at half off tomorrow. By the way, hello, darling.
I mean, how many times you have a long-term relationship, boo? But like, how many times have you? So I'm leaving you out of this. How many times have you had a boyfriend on Valentine's Day? I almost never have a boyfriend on Valentine's Day. Almost never.
Who are you speaking to?
To you.
Oh, to me?
Yeah.
Well, I'll say that I have been in a relationship with Jesus Christ for many, many years. So I am never alone. Never truly alone.
I
So
used to
you're
buy.
a Jew for Jesus?
I'm a Jew for Jesus,
Oh,
darling.
really?
And I juice for Jesus. That's when I get my prayers and my morning beverage in at the same time.
Wow.
Mhm.
I used to buy drugs from a little 14-year-old Dominican kid
Named Jesus.
Jesus. Named
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. And you're like, Jew for Jesus? Yeah. Okay, Booby, what are you featuring?
Well, it's interesting because the boy crush that I was featuring was somebody that was lovely. I don't know what he's looking like now, but he was in Starship Troopers, Patrick Muldoon. I don't know if you know who that is.
Muldoon.
I don't know who that is, but he sounds Irish.
You'll have to Google him.
That's not
Ova.
that's not the main guy though, right?
No,
That's Casper Van Diem.
Because I love Castor Van Dien,
He was over.
but I don't know.
But
Patrick
the other
Muldoon.
child, the other overchild was Patrick Muldoon. He was the bee's knees. And so, because I'm bringing up this boy crush from Starship Troopers, hence I enjoyed Starship Troopers this week. I watched it for the 3 billionth time, and I forgot Rue McClanahan had a little part in it.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, she plays one of the lab teachers, and she's got like one eye, and she's got a bionic arm, and she's been through some shit.
She's been
And
through
she's
it.
older.
I haven't seen that movie since it was in theaters, but I do have a copy of it. Maybe I'll watch it. I just remember being freaked out by all the violence.
Yeah, it's gory and it's violent, but it's
And they're fighting like bug creatures,
right.
Yeah.
bug aliens.
Exactly.
And the special effects are actually quite good.
Slamming for that time period.
For the time, they're slamming. And remember, Doogie Howser is in it as well.
Yes.
And there's lots of like
Denise
whipping
Richards.
and tying shit up and like shirtless boys, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll watch it again. Sure.
Yeah, watch it again and watch it for
Yeah.
Rue.
It's not a classic, but it's
there was a scat porn version called Starship Poopers.
Starship Troopers.
And you know who was in that was Doogie Howser.
Dookie.
That's funny. I can't believe I don't have a boy crush.
Wasn't Booby going to remake Chitty Chitty Bang Bang as a scat
Shitty
movie?
Shitty Bang Bang.
Shitty Shitty Bang Bang.
Shitty Shitty Gang Bang. Ooh, yes.
Shitty
Ooh.
what a pity gang bang.
Shitty Shitty Gang Bang. Who are you?
That's when you shit by mistake at the gang bang, and it's like, oh shit, what a pity gang bang.
Wow, this podcast
Has
devolved and quickly, but we gotta be who we are.
Hello.
You know what I mean, darling? I can't believe I don't have a boy crush. I'm looking around the room. All I see are plant catalogs and books by Asian ladies. I got no boy crush this week. Sorry, guys. Sorry,
It's okay.
guys.
We'll be ready for next time.
I'll have 2 next week. How's that?
All right, sounds
Because
good.
you a hoe.
But
Because you a big old hoe.
I tell you this. I tell you who I ain't crushing on. Girl. That redneck Bible thumper that was trying to press up into my punani.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Girl.
Yes.
I mean, this mofo called me every damn day. I'm like, I'm gonna have to block his number or some shit. I'm like, I understand that you're lonely and that all of this magic is very enticing.
Like he's never seen a beautiful woman before.
Like he never seen a beautiful woman before, darling.
Yeah, but you played your little part because the first day you were toying with him and being a coquette.
Because I thought I
Just
would
like
see him,
Joan.
I thought I
Yeah.
would see him once and he would leave.
Queen Bee.
Bitch, he ain't be trying to come around, honey.
Honey, you're gonna have to give him a piece.
I am not a Jew for Jesus, in fact. So you keep
gonna
that
have
scripture and that penis to yourself.
This not circumcised.
Well, what about it? Whatever. That don't matter none. Okay, so where are we? I've lost control completely.
Have we
All right.
each said what we were featuring? Yes.
Okay, yes. All right, so then let's get to what we're not seeing. And I'm gonna be real quick. No, let me think. You go.
What not featuring?
Mm-hmm.
Can I go second?
Yeah, I'll go first. You know what I'm not featuring? Clogged arteries. Now,
Yeah.
I have not been diagnosed by a doctor, nor have I sought any medical opinion about this, but my intuition tells me I've got clogged arteries and I'm not here for it. I think that it was caused by me laying around eating junk food, but now they're so clogged, all I can do is lay around and eat junk food. I'm exhausted. So I am not featuring clogged arteries. Also, I saw a YouTube video that had a graphic, and I thought I relate to that. I feel very seen.
Well, they say a little knowledge can be dangerous.
Then I'm dangerous as fuck.
Yeah.
Trust, bitch. Okay, Miss Matinga, what are you not featuring?
So I am not featuring the impeachment acquittal of our former president. I mean, listen, the writing was on the wall. We knew that that's what was going to happen. You know, it was just sort of a, you know, as they call it, a pantomime. But it still galled me.
Panty girdle.
It was a panty girdle.
Remember that party
And,
panty girdles?
Yeah, but that reminds me of something else. There's like a panty something. What? Like a
Pantyways. So pantyways.
Anyway. But anyway, but we saw it coming. But the thing that really galled me was that directly after the votes, Mitch McConnell, and they acquitted him. Mitch McConnell came up and gave a searing rebuke of Donald Trump, in which he lays the blame completely at Trump's feet and says that the only reason he voted to acquit was because
He's
he
a
feels
private civilian.
right, just as sort of a legal statute, he feels that it was wrong to try and impeach a president who had left the White House already. Thing is, though, he had time to call the Senate back when the president was still the president, and he said no. So it's like, dude, you're fucking pathetic. You're gonna blame him, but you still let him get off scot-free. It's just pathetic.
Well,
But onward and upward.
Mitch McConnell is a sleazy, slimy scumbag, but he's a political player. He's an operative. He's going to do what he's going to do. I assumed that dipshit was going to get acquitted. However, what this actually accomplishes is laying the groundwork for future civil lawsuits, because now people are on record as saying where they were, what they did, who they interacted with. This wasn't really about convicting him. It was about getting people on record to say certain things for future use. So listen, I have tuned out the news because I just don't want to hear this bullshit anymore.
Yeah. And it's time, and if at all possible, it is time to unite. And I think that
no, unite my ass, girl, because believe me, doctors have tried. Yeah, I don't get down with terrorists, insurrectionists, and Nazis. No, bitch, no. I mean, I'm all for keeping the peace, but nah, there's a line that you just don't cross.
But I think that if they could work together, they'd get more accomplished.
But they can't. You can't work with crazy. You can't work with.
But they used to. They used to work together. There was a time when there was more bipartisanship.
There was a time before
liberation
when all the
queens were mad and moonstruck. Every femme had a butch.
Every husband or wife.
So and also Biden sort of ran on that he might be able to reach a hand across the aisle and work with the Republicans. It's worth a shot.
Oh, Biden's my boy crush this week. Biden's my boy crush for the week.
I'll go with that.
Bing.
Okay.
Ding, zing, bang.
Ding, ding, ding.
Do you think
ding, ding, dong?
Do you think Biden would do me despite my clogged arteries? Or would he want to clog my artery, baby?
No, but Hunter might. Have you seen that nude picture of Hunter?
No.
I'll send it to you. He's got a big old dick, darling.
And I'd like to be biting on it.
Yeah. He's hot.
Work, bitch. Okay. Well, then there we go. Miss Booby. Bitch, what are you not seeing? Oh,
it's going to sound really trivial.
Oh, well, then please.
No, bring it, Boo. Bring it, babe.
Yeah.
Shedding hair.
Oh, you love Bob anyway.
Exactly.
Well, I get home covered because I work with dogs all day, literal dogs, and I'm covered in hair, and I just don't like shedding hair. I don't like it.
Have you thought about shaving them?
They a lot of them do need to be groomed well, but
Booby, I love you with all my heart. You know that you are family, and I think you are one of the most exceptional people out there in the world. But I'm gonna put you on blast real quick because many, many years ago, I used to go visit you in South Beach, and you had like 7 dogs and 5 cats. And like I would crash on your couch and I'd wake up in the morning looking like a bunny rabbit, covered in animal hair. So now you're over it?
I guess with age comes pickiness.
Well.
So it's not like that no more in my house.
But Yeti,
I don't know. I think I see some hair on that couch.
Where's Baby Yoda? Is he there?
He's there. He's behind me.
So shedding hair. Well, unless you're just going to work with poodles and what are those hairless cats?
Hyperallergenic, like canoodles. No, not canoodles. Labradoodles.
Sphinx cats.
There's no such thing as a hyperallergenic animal. That's a myth.
No, it's
no such thing.
It's hair, not fur.
Right. But even like a hairless cat has dander. Like there are animals that have less dander, but every animal has dander.
Yeah.
Ooh, what about a drag king named Danderson Cooper?
Danderson Cooper.
I just want to say, Miss Frances Leger, Miss Mangela Transberry, she always be texting me these ideas she has for drag names, and they always have like elaborate explanations. But she sent me one that jumped out this week, Darth Refrigerator. And I don't know why, but it struck me as so funny.
Darth Refrigerator.
I don't know why it struck me as so funny. Okay, so that's what you're not feeling. I think it is time to do a little segment that we like to call Just the Facts.
Remember that episode of Facts of Life when Mrs. Garrett got caught stealing?
We are going to discuss an episode of the classic 1980 sitcom, The Facts of Life.
Learning the facts of life. Yeah.
Now, since season 1 only had 13 episodes, this would probably be the last season 1 episode that we cover. Would you guys agree with that?
Sure.
Sure.
I mean, we don't have to. We can go back and do other ones, but
You know what? I gotta say that, as a kid, I loved the facts of life, but since most of the show was just the main girls,
4.
I had forgotten that some of the earlier girls were really fun, like Sue Ann and Nancy and Molly
And
Ringwald.
Molly.
well, you know what? In this
Some of them were
episode
so
in particular,
fun.
I thought the acting was really good in this episode.
Yeah.
Me too.
Actually, so the episode we are talking about today is called Running.
Yes.
Running. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. And in a nutshell, this is about two very blonde girls at Eastland who are very athletic,
Very.
Cindy and Sue Ann.
and Sue Ann
Cindy and Sue
Weaver. Sue Ann Weaver, the Dream Weaver. But what it's really about is Mr. Bradley and his toxic masculinity.
Oh my God.
Okay, that's what
So-
it's really about.
So so apparently Cindy is a champion runner and has run several big races.
Sue Ann.
Sue Ann is a champion runner and had won a couple big races for Eastland and apparently this really cool trophy that Mr. Bradley was coveting. Unbeknownst to Mr. Bradley, who was it again? Nancy?
Sue Ann. Booby dips out.
He'll be right back in. Sue Ann has decided not to run this year and train Cindy to take her place. But Mr. Bradley wants that third trophy because then Eastland gets to keep the trophy.
Sorry about that.
Right.
And that's sort of what you hang the story on.
Right. So
for this
Mr.
episode.
Bradley wants this trophy, this big silver cup. By the way, if they haven't won this race yet, how does he have that trophy in his possession?
No,
I
they
know,
won.
I know.
She
They
had
won a
won it.
race.
She had won it twice already.
Oh, so
And
if
if
they
she-
win it again, they get to keep it.
They get to
Right.
keep it. Yeah,
Okay.
but she had won it twice already. But now she's training Cindy to do it. By the way, I want to say Mr. Bradley, John Lawler, total coke sweats this entire episode. Did you notice?
Yes.
Sweaty down.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. So this is episode 11 of the season. He knew he wasn't going to be renewed for a full second season. He was like, fuck it. Let me do some blow on set. Who cares?
Bring it.
Bring it. Bring it on, bitch. Let's do some lines right here out of this trophy.
I off of Edna's head.
Off of Edna's
Oh, no.
head, honey. Yeah,
Off
and
of that
him,
shiny hairsprayed bouffant.
honey,
Yeah.
he and Mrs. Garrett,
Carried.
they're not friends.
No,
They're
not
not
in the
friends.
show.
They're not friends.
But they have a professional.
But you know, she got him his blow in real life.
Oh, girl, she has it stashed up in that bun. She's like, "What you?" She's like, "What you want?
How much
homie?
you
An
want?
8-ball? You want an 8-ball, bitch?" She just shakes her head and fucking coke falls out. Bitch. Tootie coming up behind with a little handy vac.
Miss Tootie funny in this episode.
Consistently funny.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
really
acting-
funny.
The acting really good. So Sue Ann, who's the Eastland champ, has decided she's going to hang up her track shoes because she's too busy with her studying and her curling iron.
Right.
And she's training Cindy, the latent homosexual lesbian girl, Cindy,
The girl
to
from
take-
Islandia.
the girl from Islandia, the lesbian from Themyscira. Is that Wonder Woman's planet? Or what is it called?
Wonder Woman, Themyscira.
Themyscira. So that's where Cindy hailed from. Sue Ann's from Kansas. So she's training Cindy to get into running and take her place on the track team. And they're really good friends. And Cindy's really good. She does a somersault at some point in the
Yeah.
living room.
She does
And-
a total acute somersault.
Yeah. And by the way,
Back-
those two girls, they're like really, really blonde.
Yeah.
Are people
Yeah.
still that blonde?
Of course.
Absolutely.
They're shockingly blonde. And also, people were really thin back then. Even Mr. Bradley.
Yeah.
So Mr. Bradley's kind of gagging because he wants Sue Ann to do the race because she's the champion.
And they keep calling Sue Ann fat, and she's not.
I know, but
They
and
call her
Blair,
fat. for the whole episode.
Like
they're calling
Blair
her
is
fat.
making a lot of body shaming comments to her, which I
Yeah,
was
it was
not okay
it was
with.
bothering me.
Yeah, it ain't cool because Sue Ann's gorgeous, honey. But at one point, Cindy says, Mr. Bradley, Sue Ann Weaver was eating a meatball sandwich right out
Right
in
out in
class.
class.
And class. And so
Wait a
What
minute,
hap-
is that Desperate Living?
Female trouble.
Female Trouble.
So Mrs. Garrett, meanwhile, in the B plot, is trying to learn photography from Molly Ringwald, who
From
has
Molly.
lisp for your nerves.
Yeah.
And she takes a picture of Sue Ann and Cindy together, and it's called Buddies Forever.
Forever.
Okay, and then they'll develop it later.
But first, Blair is modeling for her and
Yes.
serving you face
God.
and hair and really being hammy about it. And it
I
was
love
funny.
it.
Yeah.
I love the first thing when she flips her
Yeah.
hair back.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Yo, Miss Lisa Welchel, she had some comedy chops, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's really, you know what? She's really good. And she's so lovely.
Yeah. She is lovely. Not
Yeah.
quite as blonde as the other two.
Right.
But she's lovely. But even
Yeah.
Nancy with that gorgeous hair. How did all these people have this gorgeous hair and they're thin as a rail? Cocaine. That's
lemon.
how.
And lemon.
Lemon, darling.
Well, they're also like teenagers and
they,
like
they
in
juice
school.
for Jesus, darling.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Well, all right. So Mrs. Garrett, she thinks that she's fucking Ouija, the photographer. Sue Ann and Cindy, they're having their little competition with the track. So, but Sue Ann's going to train Cindy to be the champion. So she trains all the girls and they come running into the gym. And I want to say that I love how their sneakers match their Eastland outfits, blue and yellow. Where did they get these matching sneakers? I don't know. But
Yeah.
Cindy comes bouncing in. Nancy's kind of gagging. Blair is gagging. And Mrs. Garrett, she's not gagging so much, but she's
Right.
wogging.
She's wogging.
Which
Yeah.
is
But
faster than a
also-
walk.
But also,
Walking and jogging.
but also Tootie and Mindy like come in and really soak the laughter from that moment. It was cute.
Soak it from or add to?
No, add to the laughter,
Okay,
especially Mindy Cohn. Like she really, and also like they don't do the easy joke of her being out of shape or heavy set. That's not how they play that joke.
Right.
She milks the comedy out like in a different way. It was really good.
They're just over it.
They're just over it.
Except
Yeah.
Cindy's enthused, and then Mr. Bradley comes in after everyone's there, including Mrs. Garrett, and it's like, yo, Cindy just beat Sue Ann's record. And we're gonna get a picture.
Mr.
of
Bradley says that.
Mr.
Mr.
Bradley
Bradley.
says that in his little Coke sweat, flop sweat,
Right.
can't get it up, tracksuit, whatever. And he's like, oh, we're gonna put her on the cover of the yearbook. And now Sue Ann's kind of like, oh, well, holla, bitch. Holla, bitch. I'm still in this game, okay? You ain't trying to press up and take my record.
Right.
No.
And Miss Garrett right away is able to sense that that competition is not going to be good for their friendship. For either one
Right.
of them. And
Right.
she sort of also intuits that Mr. Bradley's being a little bit shady as
Right.
well.
Right.
And as it turns out, he actually pitted them against each other. Cindy
On purpose.
had not actually beaten her time, but he made it so that she beat her time in order to get Sue Ann back into the race.
Right.
But before they leave the gym is one of my all-time favorite lines from Facts of Life, where somebody says, take care of your body will take care of you. And Blair's like, no, take care of your body and somebody else will take care of you. Hello, Blair Warner, gold
Yeah.
digger. Get it, girl. It's true, though. Tell me, where's the lie? Take care of your body. Somebody else will take care of you, girl. But you got to lock that shit in before you're 25.
Yeah.
So I still got a year to go. All right. So
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Anyway.
Miss Garrett is like running that line of we're like, we're all sisters, we're all friends, we're in this together, we're strong, independent women. There's a place for both of you. Like
Yeah,
she's
but-
trying.
But meanwhile,
Yeah.
she's going down to the track where they're practicing and shaking out lines of coke from her bun to give them energy to do the race. So
Well,
she's trying to play it both ways, girl.
Right.
Well, no one ever said that Edna wasn't fun.
Nah, bitch.
Yeah.
She's like, you want some cinnamon bun? Anyway, so Mrs. Garrett is definitely trying to keep the friendship going. And she comes in. And by the way, Mr. Bradley sitting up in that room with his fucking foot on the table being a pig.
Mm-hmm.
Bitch,
Yeah.
get your damn shoe off the table. And Mrs.
Yeah.
Garrett comes in.
All
and she's like,
sweaty.
all sweaty in that disgusting velour tracksuit. Maybe still shining that trophy. I'm not even sure. And
Shining
Mrs.
some trophy.
Mrs. Garrett comes in like, you know what? You're destroying the friendship. And I was just down by the track and it's more like a grudge match. And Mr. Bradley's like, oh, good. Let me go down and get my clock on him. And I thought he said something else. I was like, he gonna go. I was like, Mr. Bradley, please.
Keep your fantasy to yourself.
Honey, we all love a really big clock.
Honey, this is Eastland Academy, darling. And so Cindy and what's her face? Sue Ann are like, fuck this bitch, fuck her, I'm gonna beat her. And they come up with this idea to flip a coin to decide who's gonna be in the race and who's not. And Mr. Bradley's supposed to decide it. And a physical altercation breaks out.
Yeah. And like a physical altercation breaks out between the two of them. And even in that moment, Mr. Bradley still wants to get his trophy so that Eastland can get their props. And I do want to say that Blair, her acting's really, really good. Like when they punch her, she really did seem like she was in pain.
Like she got knocked.
Yeah,
she reared up and she acted in that moment. It was good.
Her line, she's coming up, she's like, Sue Ann, protect your face. So it's so in character. But Sue Ann ends up clocking her in the eye. Right.
And gives her a mean black eye.
And later Tootie says to her, well, you could paint your eye white to match your face or paint your face black to match your eye. I would have loved to have seen Blair Warner in blackface. That would have been so funny. Or purple face, really.
Yeah.
But so
very special episode of the
yes. So Mrs. Garrett's like, yo, look what you've done. These girls are fighting. And Mr.
You done did it.
Mr. Bradley's like, yeah, but I thought it was kind of hot, whatever. And how does this come to fruition? How does the show climax, as it were?
Well, they end up back in the common room, and Edna is completely over Mr. Bradley. He has manipulated both the girls. He's ruined their friendships, and he's trying to play it off like, oh, no, competition is good in sportsmanship, blah, 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 blah. But when they come back in, when they come back downstairs, he does realize that the girls have now, they're actually not friends anymore. Edna has not printed, because you didn't print photos back then.
She developed a big photo.
She developed a big photograph of both of them, a cute photo. And, she was going to give it to both the girls, but she rips it in half and gives it to both of them and says, see what all this fighting has done and blah, 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 blah. And finally, Mr. Bradley realizes, I'm the headmaster of this school and I manipulated these girls for my own personal whatever. And
he lied.
I've broken up these friendships.
And he did all the coke.
And he did all the coke. and so he actually fesses up to them.
Yes. Which was, okay. Props to you, Mr. Bradley.
A true man.
He's like, I rigged it. Cindy, you didn't actually beat her record. Yeah. And, I just really wanted that trophy. And Sue Ann and Cindy, they start feeling bad and they apologize to each other. And Mrs. Garrett has given Sue Ann the half of the picture that has Cindy and given Cindy the half of the picture that has Sue Ann. And they're like, oh, we gave you the wrong half. She's like, no, I did what I meant to do.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. And she's like, let's take a new. Oh, and then she says to Mr. Bradley, you're beautiful.
Yeah.
Which is clearly she's dipping into her own supply.
Yeah.
So
and it was a sweet moment. It was a TV moment, but it was a really sweet moment.
And she said, let's get one more picture and we'll call it 2 champions. And Mr. Bradley says, why don't we call it 3 champions? And she's like, well, get on in there. And he says, no, Edna, I mean you.
You're fabulous. Or
so Edna goes around and Mr. Bradley is going to take a picture of Mrs. Garrett with Sue Ann and Cindy all happy again. And here comes Blair down the stairs with her black eye. She says, please, no photos.
No photos.
That is the episode called Running from season 1 of The Facts of Life.
And the girls learn that friendship is more important than winning and competition. And
but
by the way,
nothing is more important than Coke.
Nothing's more important than Coke. And you know what? And by the way, you know what I say to that? Bullshit. Just like in Mahogany, when he says success is nothing. without someone you love to share it with, even as a 13-year-old, I said, bullshit. Bullshit.
That is some
I
bullshit.
want to win.
Happy
who-
Valentine's Day.
Do you know who says that? Losers.
Losers.
Losers say that. I like that they were able to patch up their friendship, which hadn't really been established before. Because Sue Ann is kind of like Blair's frenemy in season 1.
Right.
And Cindy's the rough and tumble lesbian child. What?
Oh, and just one last thing. Roger is fucking gross.
Oh, so Nancy's unseen boyfriend.
He's freaking gross. Like, you never see him, but he's always saying something kind of smarmy to her.
Yeah.
Well, they reduced Nancy's role to just being she's on the phone with this unseen invisible boyfriend. Although everybody else mocks him. All the other girls mock him. So clearly he's
Roger
douchey.
this and Roger that.
right. Oh,
Yeah.
Roger. Oh, Lord. So that is the episode called Running, which I really liked. And I guess unless there's a season 1 episode you two hagfish really want to cover, the next time we do an episode, we'll be jumping into season 2.
Ooh.
Sounds good, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's do that.
Yeah.
So why don't we, I forgot what we're doing. Where are we? What's happening? Well, listen, I'm losing the thread completely. So
I think even in the second season of Facts of Life, some of the girls are still around. Like, they pare it down a little bit, but I think some of the other cast is still around.
Nancy shows up for sure. Sue Ann shows up. I think
Molly's
even
gone.
Molly be gone. She was like, I'm getting that John Hughes money, darling.
I saw 16
Yes.
Candles last night, and I was laughing at how Molly grew up like big time.
Is
Molly
that-
was,
Like right in front
Molly
of
was
her
the
eyes.
shit in the mid 80s. Molly
She
was
was
the
the
stuff,
shit.
darling.
Is 16 Candles the one with Long Duck Dong?
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't know how that would fly today.
It
It
wouldn't
would
fly
not.
at all. Every time they say his name, do you hear boom, gong go off?
And is that
But-
also the one with the girl with the braces thing? What do you call that? Headgear?
Yeah.
Headgear.
Joan Cusack.
Is it Joan Cusack?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie in
And
so
her
many
brother's
years.
in it, John Cusack.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know who's my other boy crush? Who's the hottie in that film?
Oh, yeah.
Is that Judd Nelson?
No.
The big hunky one.
Yeah.
The bow hunk. They keep calling him
Yeah.
a bow hunk. I like the scene where the bitchy girl who's his girlfriend gets her hair caught in the door and she's like, guys, I'm your prom queen. I'm your homecoming queen.
I want to say, like, the plot of 16 Candles, sort of, is
Jake
that her
Ryan.
Jake Ryan, as called
is-
out by Donna Perry in the comments. She knew that a little too quickly.
is that they forget her birthday, and that is actually, my family has forgotten my birthday like completely twice. Like, one time they didn't even remember for days. I was like, I think it's when I turned 40, and I was pissed.
To be
Just
fair, though, your birthday usually coincides with Labor Day.
It's always on Labor Day. It's so weird.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
it's your birthday is really a sad day for everyone that knows you because that
Honey,
was
it's
the day that you came into being.
It's a sad day for me, babe.
Oh, trust. Well, listen, let's get into birthdays for a second because, you know, mine's right after Christmas and I would get those 2-for-1 dealies.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's not
Yeah.
cute. And listen, I'm a grown ass man, bitch. I'm 36 years old. This is not going to rock my world, okay? And I'm, Booby, what? Booby, what? I'm sorry, Booby.
Yes, Virgos rock.
You're breaking up. Okay, so listen. This has been a delightful, hopefully, episode of So Auntieways. Be sure to check us out on Teespring or whatever they call it now, and YouTube, all our different podcast platforms. The link and whatnot will be in the description below. Guys, what do you think?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Thank you.
Any closing
I'm
thoughts?
So glad we had this time together.
Oh, So Auntieways. That's the cue, guys, to end this. So I'll do it again. No,
So
shut up. No,
But you know what? I'm never sure what I'm supposed to say when you say so auntie ways. Like, what do you want me to say?
here's a clue. You know how the last 4 episodes, when I say So Auntieways, and then you guys say So Auntieways, and then that's the end of the show?
But it's never good enough. It's never good enough for you.
Well, let's do it again. And let's for me, I'm doing this for them. I'm doing this for all the little people out there.
For you.
For you, for me. So we'll try this again, but let's really make it feel emotional and real and grounded, okay?
Okay.
Would someone else like to start, or should I just do it?
I'll do it.
Okay, Booby,
Yes.
go.
So Auntieways.
So Auntieways.
So Auntieways.
Auntieways.